Can you believe it has been 5 months since I've made a YouTube video, which is absolutely crazy. It was something I wanted to do. YouTube was something I wanted to do for a long time, and I was managing how many videos did I get out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos before I ended up stopping. Last one was out in Spain. I think the main reason that I did stop was after Spain, I went to Italy and I was training for my my full marathon in Pisa, which went really well, but I just really didn't enjoy my time. So I was living in Rome, and there's a couple of things going on, I think, at that time, where it was like, I think number one was the city was just chaotic. It didn't feel like somewhere where you feel safe. The difference was in Spain, I was at an apartment, I was on the beach. When you walk around, it's a lot of tourists, but like, you know, I can go out in the morning at say 7, 8 in the morning, and there'll only be 2 or 3 people around. And that was really nice. And also, in general, the locals smile a lot more, a lot happier. As soon as I went to Rome, it was like the complete opposite. It was all hustle and bustle. You can always got to watch your bag. You know, I had a guy from one of them, I don't know, he was like working for the train station, whatever, come up to me, try and speak to me in Italian, saying, hide your bag, and I'm just thinking to myself, what have I put myself in for here? The apartment was lovely in Italy. It was actually better than the one in Spain, but it was just as soon as you left out, to be honest, even of an evening, you just hear sirens, chaos. It was just too much. I just think I just didn't enjoy that whole environment, and that just killed off any sort of enjoyment for even making these videos, which is annoying, because obviously I wanted to really keep consistent with this. This is something I'd wanted for this year, and this is something that sparks a little bit of a fire in my belly to actually create content and show people what my life is like, and to also inspire people on things like, you know, for example, with fitness, with getting involved in sport, and getting involved in fashion, and, you know, I enjoy doing that. And I just think when I went to Italy, I think it just killed it all off for me, and I haven't just found that spark to really get back into it. And it was actually today. So I've in Italy, in Rome, I was waking up every day, and to be honest, I didn't really want to wake up and do things. It was tough. I was struggling a lot, I think, just with my mental health, and the running also didn't help. I think I was just mentally and physically exhausted. You know, I was running my training runs like 32 kilometers and things. That on top of everything else going on, I just fell out of love with pretty much everything. And I've lacked a fire in my belly for a while. And even now, you know, recently I've still lacked a bit of a fire in my belly in regards to anything I'm doing. And it's a struggle, because, like, for example, I'm running a business that is based on getting people results and transformations, because that's what I'm good at. That's my skill. But it's been difficult to try and keep up with the post, and keep up with the reaching out, you know, bringing people on board, just because I haven't been fully enjoying the process as much. And then today, I actually jumped on a business mentorship call, and the whole purpose of it was to find your purpose, to do with things like Ikigai. And we had a ChatGPT prompt, and recently I've been thinking more and more about creating more of my content, doing more what I would call like actual personal branding, actually just showing what I get up to, what my life is like, because, you know, once upon a time I was 110 pounds heavier than this, and a lot of people actually like to see what I'm doing now, what my life looks like now, from, you know, obviously what it once was, because it's also a bit of inspiration. You know, I would have loved to have seen someone back in my day, someone who was, you know, over the years has completely transformed their life. And I'd done this Ikigai thing, and I'd done it on ChatGPT, and the 3 things it said that I'd be good at is, number one, it was being a sort of like a men's wellness coach and influencer. The second one was to be a creative coach for men involving their identity. And the third one was build your own platform, podcast or YouTube series. And all three kind of hit me, and I was like, well, I actually do want to be doing all three. And for the first time in a long time, I sat there and I was excited. And this is a good thing. And this is why I think I'm going to go all in on this. I think that when I came home from Italy, I was a little bit down. And I also think that I didn't see the point in recording because I wasn't getting up to anything major. But the whole point is that you guys and you watching this video can sort of relate to me, get inspired by me by even just doing the basics, doing, the training, the running. It doesn't have to be going anywhere fancy for it. So yeah, I'm back. And yeah, you're going to notice or see a couple of things that you're going to see a lot of is coffee, training, paddle, because I absolutely love paddle now, and running, and to be honest, just in general, someone who's trying to get after it, and actually probably quite a lot of fashion as well, because that's something that I really enjoy and something I've been really enjoying over the last year or so. So I can't wait to bring you all along. Today, for example, was a great day. I went play paddle, done some work in a hotel in Manchester that I do work in pretty much every Wednesday, which is amazing. And then and then after that, I went to Nando's with my partner. Now I'm home, and now it's just time to crack on with some work. Getting back to some of my clients. I'm actually now working for 2 coaching companies, which is great. I found like I wanted to go all in and see how much I can possibly give to see how much I can improve in such a short amount of time. And me joining these different coaching companies is like literally just elevating my levels, not just in regards to earning more money, for example, but in regards to just being challenged with new people, new thoughts, new problems to solve. So that's all going really good, and it's all really exciting. But no, I'm excited to get into this little YouTube series. The goal is end of the year to try and get 500 subscribers. So if you're watching this right now and you're not subscribed, I would appreciate it. It's going to be one hell of a journey. So yeah, let's crack on and let's get to it. It's up, ready to go. Okay. So a couple of things that have been changed, as I said to you, this is a first initial plan change. I never like to make anything major. Just because we're in a routine, we've built momentum. I don't want to feel like we are having to start all over again with learning exercises. We're doing this. So it's all things that, even the exercises that I've changed, are all very similar plane of movements to the normal movements you had been doing, okay? Is if you jump onto ChatGPT, and I know it's AI everything nowadays, but I actually use AI a lot of the time to just have a bit of a conversation with me if I'm feeling like I can't think. So in your case, it could be like, okay, ChatGPT, this is how I currently coach. I'm struggling to find what I do differently. This is a client result of mine. This is the testimonial she gave me. These are more the people I want to be helping. I want to get this across in a post just like this, and you can copy and paste the post that you've made. And say, I want to then actually show my coaching to be something different, and give it a sort of wow moment instead of it just being generalized. So it's actually one thing I found is that I can never seem to sit still. It's quite funny. So I've actually got basically an office upstairs, right, that I hardly use. I bought a desk, I bought monitors, I bought everything, and I maybe go in there for maybe an hour, 2 hours tops a day. I don't know, it's something about when you're working at home, like it can be really difficult, and to sort of make sure you're keeping concentrated. And also depending on the type of work, I always find I do like the hardest tasks in the office. I do the middle tasks in the kitchen. And then when I've got light tasks, so for example, right now I am doing a mixture between messaging clients back to doing some editing, doing some email writing and things like that. Also on in the background is something that I think helps me a lot is people to aspire to on YouTube. or to be honest, on anywhere. Right now, I'm actually watching Louis Armstrong. Who I know off the back of I used to watch Mike Thurston, and I always find it's a hack to, when you see someone that inspires you, or you see things that inspire you, to keep always sort of watching that content, because all of a sudden you start noticing that you start doing similar things. I used to watch Mike Thurston when I was at my heaviest. Now I'm in a position to where I've lost 110 pounds, and I find it really good that I can now look at his stuff and I can see now the life I wanted to live, and that I've slowly been moving towards that, which is class. For example, for you guys watching this, I said I'm hoping to show you what life can be like especially if you're someone who is an overweight man. It's never that far away. You'd be very, very surprised with, I said, I used to look at Mike Thurston, I used to look at people on Love Island, which, by the way, just aren't actually great role models, but someone like Mike Thurston, I'd probably say was, that life isn't actually that far away, but you've got to envision it, and then start doing the habits and the things that they do, and yeah, all of a sudden things will start going your way. So today's plan of action is currently 5 to 7. So today's plan of action, I'm going to quickly go to Tim Hortons. I'll get a coffee, do some work. I also need to charge the car, so that's the main reason I'm going, because I completely forgot to put it on charge last night at home. So I'm going to do that. And then I've got paddle at 9 till 10:30. Then I'm heading down to my missus's, which is about 45 minutes, hour or so away. So yeah. See, when people are on a diet, they think that they can't have anything that they would normally have. So for example, this morning, didn't have breakfast in the house because I'm here, there and everywhere today. So I came to Tim Hortons, got myself a flat white with skimmed milk. Yeah, easy choice, saves me 30-40 calories. It's normally 121 with semi-skimmed, so it's probably going to be around about 95, I'm going to guess. But I still actually track it as 121. An egg and cheese muffin, 302 calories, and the hash brown is 99. That I always have a sort of a simple calorie structure in regards to what my breakfast, lunch and tea look like. And my breakfast is always between the 500 and 600 range, which 300, 100, 400, 500 fits in perfectly. The reason why I have that structure is that I can make decisions like this. And it's still sort of, even though yes, it's not the greatest quality of food, still going to be decent protein in regards to the egg muffin in comparison to, say, if I was to order something else from here. And yeah, that fits within the amount of calories I'd normally have for breakfast. This just then means in my mind, when I come in late, when I have my food later, it's just got to be high protein, so I make sure I hit my protein goal. But I'm going to eat this, and then I'm going to crack on with some work. And one thing I believe is that, see, when you're overweight, when you don't feel good, and to be honest, a lot of men in general, you just don't speak to yourself well at all. You're always negative to yourself. You'd always sort of, to be honest, you treat yourself like just shit. And that only ends up with you spiraling and making things worse and never actually, say, enjoying your own company. When you start looking after yourself, you start speaking to yourself in more of a loving manner, you enjoy your company so much more. But then we also want to keep getting the best version of ourselves, because we realise we spend so much time in our own skin. And it's one of the things I think, as I said, a lot of men forget, is that, you should be able to enjoy your own company. You should be able to spend time alone. Like Charlie's done there, take himself out for a meal. Something that I do a lot is always to take myself for a meal or go to the cinema on my own. And the reason why it's so important is that you need to get used to being in yourself, but also what it does is that when you spend more time in yourself, if you then find that level of frustration, then it's probably a sign that you've got to improve and you've got to change, you've got to do different things. For me, I always found that me spending time with myself
is that I was able to self-reflect a lot, and I was actually able to enjoy the whole process of getting better, because all I was thinking about was like, okay, and I'd spend time journaling. I'd even come here to Tim Hortons and I'd sit here with my journal and write out some things, and it's like I, in such a positive manner, I'm like, Jaleel, you're doing amazing. You're so much better, so much further ahead than where you were. But okay, what's the next step? Where's next? And I think that's one thing I think that we could easily change, is start speaking to ourselves in a more positive manner, because that's only going to help. And spending more time alone, it's only going to then benefit us at getting better, and not just for us, but for those around us as well. That was a great point by Charlie. And also the pre-prepping for like calorie banking for meals and things is huge. And if you're on a fat loss journey, if you are wanting to have a meal out, just plan ahead with it. For example, if I go out for a meal, when I was doing my first photo shoot especially, I was out for a meal every Friday on my own. I usually used to have a light breakfast. I would then go to the restaurant early, about 3-4. I'd then eat my main big meal. It'd probably be about 1,500, 1,600 calories worth. And then I'd come home. By the time I got home, I'd normally go on a big walk after that. Then when I'd come home, it'd be like, 6, 7 o'clock, and I'd just be content with just doing whatever then until bed. But that was planning, prepping beforehand, because we want to make sure performance is high regardless.